All right, JHK here for Sports Kita, and joining me right now is one of the rising prospects in the UFC bantamweight division, Adrian Yanez. Adrian, appreciate the time, man. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing great, man. I'm ready, man. I'm just ready. I'm great and I'm ready, man. We're like about a couple weeks away from the fight, so I'm just ready to go.
Definitely, man. It seems like they announced this fight so long ago, man. It's usually, it seems like that's what the UFC is doing now, right? They're announcing these fights like 3 months ahead.
Oh yeah, I know for the past couple of times I've been getting booked a little bit kind of far out. After my October fight, uh, I was notified that I was going to be fighting in March, and I was like, well, I want to fight sooner because I want to fight sooner. So it was like 5 months, and then I fought in March, and then now it's like after this last fight, got like 4 months, and then I'm fighting again. So I was kind of hoping to get a little bit something sooner and sooner and sooner, but the little long training camps, they have their places, man, and I just kind of wish it was shortened it up, man. I want to get in there already.
Yeah, yeah, and the anticipation, man. So before we get into the fight, your boy Martinez, man, he gets signed by the UFC. I'm so happy for him. Metro Fight Club, they're on the come up, man. What's up?
Oh yeah, man. It was the perfect fight, man. He had a really tough opponent in Jose Johnson. He's like a really phenomenal striker, and Leo just pretty much showcased how good of a striker he is. And whenever he walked in there, like me, I'm always gonna be nervous whenever I see a training partner fight, no matter what. My heart's thumping, my heart's pounding, and to see him go in there against a striker like that first 20 seconds was like just my heart was about to jump out my chest, and then I see him setting up a couple things, and man, he just threw a leg kick to the check hook, man, and put him to sleep. And I just remember just jumping up and down, like, man, I lost my voice, man. It was great, man. I'm so happy for him, man. I was kind of looking back, and I was like, man, like the contenders fight didn't do injustice, which I was like telling a lot of people, was like, man, look, I think that just made him hungrier. He was there, now he really wants it. Like he tasted it. He got the little bit of taste, and he wants to bust through it. And then he did it, man, right in front of Dana White, where it really counted. And man, to do it in that type of fashion against a really good opponent in Jose Johnson, man, it man, it was great, man. It got me pumped. It got me pumped, ready to go in there and fight, man. So I'm extremely happy for him, man. He hasn't taken a step back either, man. He got right back into training, trying to help me out for my fight, and then he got his fight coming up in August. So, man, it's nothing but great things, man. Hopefully we get another couple fighters in there by the end of the year.
No doubt, man. It seems like Dana loves the guys that are coming out of Metro Fight Club, so I see a bunch of guys coming out of there the next couple of years. Now, let's jump into your last fight against Gustavo Lopez. There was some talk, some friendly banter ahead of the fight, because I interviewed you and I interviewed him, so I know what happened, right? And then when you stepped into the cage, man, you went in there, you fought 2 rounds, and then in the third round, you got the finish. It was beautiful. What did you think about the first 2 rounds, man? Did you feel like you showed something else besides like what you've shown in the past?
Yeah, I felt like I showed a lot of patience in there, and I showed a little bit more of like, if you make a mistake, I'm gonna pounce on those opportunities every single time. So you have to be on your P's and Q's the whole entire fight. And and it kind of shows everybody else that they're gonna fight me differently. Everybody's looking to fight me differently, and they can fight against everybody. Kind of like Gustavo is just the guy that just keeps coming forward and doesn't stop coming forward. He fought differently whenever he fought me, so it kind of shows the level of skill that I have, because I have a phenomenal fighter in Gustavo Lopez going out there and fighting me completely different. He knew the dangers every single time that he stepped in, and he knew that the power that I have, and he knew whenever he took that first shot that it wasn't going to be easy for me to go down. I've been working a lot, and I've been trying to evolve my game. And then also on top of that, I was able to showcase a little bit of my kicks here and there. Not to the extent that I wanted to, but I wish I would have shown more. But just being able to set up stuff and set traps here and there, cut off the cage a little bit more. But I do wish I showed a little bit more. But within that time, I knew, like, I was a little timid in that fight, but at the same time, I knew what I was doing was working. So it all fell into place, and I expected a completely different fight, if I'm being quite honest. But the way it planned out is the way it is perfect to me, honestly.
Yeah, I expected him to wrestle a lot more, but it seemed like he was like he was laser focused on knocking you out instead
Oh
of
yeah,
going with the wrestling and the grappling.
oh yeah, I sensed it too. I had sensed it too, but honestly, I don't know. I guess the talk of like everybody, like I guess because I know in during the fight week he was like really like, who's this guy? Who's this guy? I've knocked people out too, and it at the point where he was listening to everybody else and everybody and all these other hypes and everything, and kind of leading up to the fight, I guess he was trying to make it seem like he was gonna wrestle me a lot more, and I guess he was trying to play a different mind game. But like to me, I'm like, I'm thinking everybody's gonna try to take me down, so that's the way I fight. So I'm like, yeah, nobody wants to stand up with me, nobody wants to box me. So, like, yeah, of course, everybody's gonna shoot in. So I work on that the whole entire time. So that's why I didn't get overly aggressive in chasing for the finish in the first 2 rounds. But yeah, I was expecting because he was talking big game about how he wanted to drown me, and I was like, hey, look, you're gonna try to do it, but hey, I'm gonna do my best to stop you. And I guess all the hype stuff that was surrounding that fight around me was kind of like really bothering him. So, uh, did what I did, but I told him at the end of the day, dude, I still respect you as a fighter. You're a great fighter, and I was glad to share the octagon with him. So, to me, it was a fun experience for me, especially sharing the cage with somebody like Gustavo, a champion in another organization that's thrown in a lot of guys into the UFC. So I had a lot of respect for him.
Yeah, Gustavo's a great guy, and him kind of putting out that banter, it helped you and build your hype more actually.
Oh yeah, I felt that completely. Just because too, it's like he was out there like really praising. It's like, man, I fought Marab in a couple days notice and went all 3 rounds. Then what's this guy got on me? And I was like, oh well, hey dude, I took you out in the third, and hey, Marab's in the top 15. So what does that say for me? So it kind of helped. It helped bounce me up a little bit more. And then right after that, the whole MMA Twitter kind of took hold of me, and it was just like, all right, like this is where there's something bigger, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. So it kind of shot me up. It shot me up really high.
Of course, man. And now you got Randy Costa 2-1 in the UFC, two first round finishes. When you break down his style, what do you see?
Man, I see explosiveness, I see power, and I do see speed. Uh, but also, I believe I'm the faster fighter. I really do believe I'm the fast fighter. I know he's really diverse in how he strikes. He's that guy that'll throw a kick in a combination. Like that's just the way he is. So that's like going down to his style. He's a pressure type of fighter. Wants to look to knock you out the whole entire time, and pretty much that's at a base level of just looking at his fights. That's the fighter he is. He might have wrestling, he might have jiu-jitsu, but at the end of the day, whenever he fights, he goes in there, tries to walk you down and just throw heavy kicks, heavy punches, tries to put your lights out. And that's honestly what you got to take it at face value, and that's what he is. But looking at that, I see a lot of things that I like.
Well, yeah, you mentioned right there that he is a pressure guy, moves forward, aggressive, power shots. That kind of plays into your style. Do you think so?
Oh, I believe so. I believe that works exactly into my style. I got a great training partner. Like you mentioned him earlier, Mana Martinez. Uh, him himself, he's been doing it for a very long time, and like his karate just itself mixed in with the kickboxing that he has makes it trickier for you to pick up kicks, makes it trickier for like his whole entire style. So if I've been training with him for like so many years, that I go to Randy, who is more of a more traditional kicks and a little bit more loaded up, that I'm gonna be able to see all of it coming. It just I just can't get lazy. I can't be that guy that automatically like is so relaxed that I just get caught. So that's the biggest thing. I had to be on my P's and Q's the whole entire time because this guy can shut off anybody's lights out in the 35 division. So I just have to be very strict with myself. I can't let myself slide. I can't let myself make any mistakes, you know. And also at the same time, he has to be in that same exact way. He can't make any mistakes because I'm a pouncing on any opportunity he makes a mistake. I'm pouncing on it, and and same with him. Like I'm expecting for him if I make a mistake, I'm expecting him to take full advantage of it. So it's one of those fights that both of us have the power to put each other out. Uh, I know me looking at the fights, and I really like what I see. I really like what I see.
And you know, a lot of people, I don't know if it's a lot of people, but some people look at the matchup and say, why are they putting two, you know, promising guys together against each other so early in their career? Why do you think the UFC put this together?
Yeah, honestly, I think it just was one of those things that we both wanted to fight. Yeah, we both wanted it, and I think whenever the UFC looks at two people that want to fight, they're gonna let them fight. And it to me it was really great too. It's like the build up has been fun for me. Like it's really great, and then like everybody on Twitter has been loving it. It's been translating over into my Instagram and everything, where people are still like commenting Dr. Pepper forever or Reese's forever and all that stuff. So it's been good back and forth, banter here and there. It's been really cool, just seeing that whole aspect. Just the only a little bit of a downfall is that we're not on the main card. So I think I saw that earlier today that we weren't on the main card. So I was like, well, that kind of sucks. But I believe with how like the diehard MMA fans on Twitter, like I think they would appreciate it if it was on the main card. But at the same time, hey, look, this card is stacked. Like this whole entire July 24th card is stacked. So to me, honestly, I want to fight, go change, and then after that, be able to watch the rest of the card. So that makes it even better for me. Fight early, leave early, get to celebrate a little bit earlier. So I think that'd be pretty cool.
You take away the Dr. Pepper, the Reese's Pieces. How do you envision stopping Costa?
Man, I believe I get it done in the second round. I believe I get him out in the second round. I feel the first is going to be the is going to be the telltale whether I see if he's going to fight me differently. That's how I'm looking at this, because like everybody has been fighting me differently, like in just really going back to Gustavo, he fought me differently than he's fought everybody else. Victor, I was looking at a lot of his fights, and he fought me completely different than anybody else. Uh, Going back to Brady, he fought me differently than what he fought differently than everybody else. He felt like he had to take more chances, and that was a detriment to him because, like I said, you make a mistake against me, I'm shutting your lights out. Just everybody, shoot, even going back to like my LFA title fight with Miles Johns, like he's super aggressive with everybody. He kind of took a step back when he fought me. Kind of he gets everybody else down. He grounds and pounds on you. He dominates the whole entire fight. But he was kind of timid against me. So it was one of those. It's one of those that you kind of look at like, I got to see how he's going to want to fight me. And then once I figure it out, then okay, that's when I find my openings, and that's whenever I get the finish. So that's a big reason why I'm saying the second round. But if he gives me the option, early, man, I'll take that first rounder too.
For sure, man. And let's say you go in there, you stop him, you're healthy, you're uninjured. A couple weeks later, UFC 265, Houston is going down. Do you pull a Hamzat and hop in there?
Oh,
Because there's a bunch of bantamweight fights on that card.
I would absolutely take that chance. I would absolutely. I go in there, 30-second knockout against Randy Costa. Go out there, call my shot, get the August 7th, man. I would absolutely take that shot, man. It's a dream of mine. I've always wanted to fight in Houston, especially the Toyota Center on a UFC pay-per-view. I think that would top a lot of things on what I'm doing, what I've done, and everything. That would just be the top. That'd be the top for me. So that I would want that. But and then on top of that, like being able to fight on a Derek Lewis undercard, man. I remember watching him fight back in Legacy days. So just to be able to fight on his undercard would be like amazing for me, because that kind of comes full circle. I remember watching Derek Lewis fight in Legacy and fight all these guys before he even got into the UFC, before he was the big known, like, oh, my balls is hot guy and all this stuff, Popeye's chicken guy. Like I knew him from, like, I remember him fighting from back then. Like, even this, like, there's, I don't know if they still had that picture, but there's a picture where I was there at the event where, like, the guy was holding on for dear life for a double leg, and like, Derek's pants started coming down, and like, they have a picture of Derek's butt cheek on the guy's head. So, like, I was there for that, and I think that's still, I think honestly that's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool memory that I have, like, of the guy who's fighting for the UFC title right now. So, uh, I think it would be a really good circle, really good comeback that I would be able to fight on the guy from Houston who's fighting for a UFC heavyweight title, and just me being able to be on his undercard, and then also fulfilling my own goals that I have set for myself. So I think all that just comes full circle. I think that would be the best thing to happen.
For sure, man. And July 24th on the card that you're going to be fighting on, the main event, TJ Dillashaw is returning after a long suspension for PEDs, and he's fighting a top contender. Do you agree with that? Do you agree with him coming back and doing that?
Well, it's a double-edged sword because he comes back, he gets to fight Corey Sandhagen, but also that's it. He's fighting Corey Sandhagen. Corey Sandhagen is a beast. You know, he's that guy, and I think Corey. I don't see this as an easy fight for TJ Dillashaw at all. Because 2-year layoff, I don't see it. I personally don't see it going TJ's way. I think Corey Sandhagen is just on a different level right now, and uh, I can agree with Corey wanting to take the fight, just probably because he probably just has, like, he just doesn't like him, but also at the same time, like, it's a notch in his belt, because TJ officially kind of never really lost the 35 belt. It was just more of a, like, he tested positive whenever he went down to 25, so he never really lost the 35 belt, but he got the 2-year suspension, so of course they're going to move on with the division. So, in Corey's eyes, it's a win-win, and in TJ Dillashaw's eyes, he's in a must-win situation, because if he loses against Corey Sandhagen, he's gonna have to go back to the bottom of the barrel fighting the guys who are in the lesser top 15, and then he has to work his way back up into a title shot. And I think he's a little bit older now, so he's like kind of getting out of his prime. So it's a must-win for him. So he's under a lot of pressure, and Corey Sandhagen, he's already in the top mix of guys. He's not moving down. He's not moving down at all. I think he stays in the top 5 for quite a bit, for quite a while.
Yeah, Dillashaw and Sandhagen, they've trained together. They've had camps together. As a fighter, how does that change how you look at this fight?
Oh man, I think it changes. I think it changes a lot. Just to see where, like, man, I know his breaking point. I know when he's having a hard time. I know when he's frustrated. I know, like, what he likes and what he doesn't like. There's just a lot of things that goes into a training camp. Whenever you had camps together and you've been training with somebody, and going into their style, because, like, no matter what, like, let's just say, like me and my training partner, me and Mana, whenever we're going with each other, I know when he's out of shape. I know when he's slowing it down. He knows when I'm out of shape, and he knows whenever I'm slowing it down. Uh, we both know when we're having a good day, when we're having an off day, on what we're both on, what what works for what am I not good at, what do I need help with, what does he need help with, what is he good at, and all that stuff. So it's one of those things that, like, there's a lot to unpack, and I would honestly love to be a fly in that room whenever they were sparring, just because I would want to see how that went. And plus, Corey Sandhagen wasn't the guy yet. He was the up and comer. He was the up and comer trying to be the guy, and TJ Dillashaw was probably already the guy. So he's probably looking at that as like, I know what he does really well, and now that I'm up here at this level, I know I can compete with him in this area. But I know what he lacked in, and I'm really good at that area, and I can expose that too. So there's a lot of things that they can probably take away, and then also, TJ Dillashaw can look and be like, man, I used to tool this guy all the time. So he's probably walking in there thinking, he's like, man, it's just gonna be another easy fight, and kind of dismiss the evolution. So there's a lot of things that can go on in that camp, or like leading into this fight, that they're both like, all right, it's either TJ Dillashaw is gonna think he's gonna run over this guy, or Corey Sandhagen's probably thinking like, oh, I'm gonna expose all this stuff that I know he's not good at. So it's one of those that I'm really tuning in because, man, it can show how really good TJ Dillashaw is or how really good Corey Sandhagen is. And I'm really hoping it's the Corey Sandhagen.
How do you think Corey gets it done?
I think, man, honestly, I think he gets a 5-round decision. Because I don't think I think TJ Dillashaw is just a little bit too good not to get knocked out. I don't think he's gonna be very calculated in his risk, and I don't think he's gonna put himself in any like that amount of danger, especially early on. So it'd either be a 4th or 5th round, like round stoppage, but I believe it's going all 5. It's gonna be a fun fight for sure. But without the EPOs, you don't know how long he goes on.
Yeah, definitely. Now, later this year, I believe Aljamain Sterling is going to be defending his belt against Peter Yan on Fight Island in October. This is what they're saying. What about you, man? Do you want to go to Fight Island? You haven't been there yet. You probably heard stories. Would you want to go there and compete?
Oh, man, it's all depending. It depends on, man, I barely like the flights to Vegas, if I'm being quite honest with you. Those 3 hours on the plane, I think this last time around it was 4 hours. It was 4 hours because they had to stop in El Paso, and I was like, oh, this is terrible. But the plane, like an 18-hour flight, I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm up for that. But at the same time, I think it'd be fun to go. I think it'd be like a nice, beautiful place just to visit. But if I'm going, and I go and I'm having to cut weight and doing all that stuff, I think it'd be a little bit more irritating than that, like taking that 18-hour flight. But if it was for fun and going over there, 18-hour flight, I think that'd be cooler. That'd be a lot easier than going over there, cutting weight, not being able to eat the food that you want to eat. So, I don't know. It's a mixture because you go out there and you win, you get the 50K bonus, you get to kind of hang out there like, oh man, it is cool. And on the flight back, you get to party it up and everything. So I think that would be pretty cool too. So it's a double-edged sword for me. I don't know. I would like to go, but also the 18-hour flight is just something I'm just like, I don't know.
Well, I guess they got to dangle a good opponent out there, someone that could rocket ship you higher into the rankings or in the rankings, right?
Oh, absolutely. If it's one of those that I can't refuse, then I'm definitely taking it.
All right. I look forward to it, man. But anyways, before that happens, July 24th, Las Vegas. Adrian, always good chopping it up with you. Thank you so much, and good luck on the fight, man.
Man, thank you very much. Every time I've come on this podcast, I've gotten great results. So, hey, I'm hoping for some more, man.